It's 20 to 4 on October the 30th, and snow precipitation is starting to finally make its way into BC. It's taking its time a little bit today to show up, but it is showing up. We'll have a look at that right now. There's a bit of a surprise wave of snow coming to southern BC. A little interaction is going to work a little differently than maybe we first thought, and it's going to bring some snow to southern BC on Friday. We'll look at which highways are going to be affected by that as well. A bit of a Halloween forecast for you. Hope to give you an idea of who will have good trick-or-treating weather in Western Canada. All right, let's go. It's the Bad News Show. I'm Joey. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen.
Get on!
Wow. I'll watch the video later. They try mopping this. So this cold front is moving through. It's taking its time. Things are happening kind of how I expected, but taking a little longer to manifest. And then this low is going to slide down the coast. It's going to reinvigorate itself just a little bit, and it's going to send some snow on its backside into southern BC on Friday. So it looks like we got a larger snowfall coming to Friday than maybe we thought. We knew that this system was going to bring snow, and it is already. That's happening. But we have some extra bad weather for anyone traveling through Friday and maybe even Saturday overnight through southern British Columbia. Take a second now and look at some of these weather warnings going on in Canada. We've got wind warnings still going on today, 90 kilometers an hour over exposed areas at East Vancouver Island, Neuse Bay, Fanny Bay, Greater Victoria. Some of those places have been taking some strong winds. We'll look at that in a minute. Snowfall is pushing a little further north now into the Yukon, 15 to 25 centimeters going on up there north of Whitehorse. Treachery between there and Dawson City for sure, 5 to 15. Faro, Ross River to Mayo. We got a blizzard warning up on the Dempster Highway, folks, so not good travel conditions to be going on your way out to Fort McPherson. But it's not alone. Baker Lake has got its own storm going on, 90 kilometer an hour gusts on Wednesday. Today, conditions will improve Thursday morning as the winds abate. And we got similar things going on here, blizzard warning as well for areas along the Hudson Bay coast. Kivalliq, Whale Cove, 80 kilometer an hour gusts, zero visibility at times. Conditions will improve through Thursday. Travel will be absolutely ridiculous through Churchill, Manitoba. Wind warning going on there. 90 kilometer an hour gusts happening. Arviat, what about you? Still the blizzard warning as well. Northern Ontario looking at a bunch of rainfall warnings. 60 millimeters possible with thunderstorms possible as well. There's a big tornado outbreak happening right now in the United States. So that's very concerning. 5 to 10 centimeters of snow in the northern sections, maybe not as far as Moose and Knee, but most of those northern sections, especially some of those areas along the Trans-Canada Highway, you'd want to be very, very careful on your way to towards Terrace Bay there. Freezing rain warning going on in Labrador City and Wabush. There's a new product available on the internet today, a new website. The Canadian Severe Storms Laboratory announced its grand opening now. Western University is sponsoring this, and we have this brand new website, and it's got weather stations from all over the place. Here I've got radars, and I've got satellite imagery on top. We can zoom in here, have a look at some of these weather stations. Got a gust at 78.5 at 9 in the morning. You can see some of these other weather stations taking some pretty good winds here. Discovery Island got up to 88 almost, 86.3. Balena's Island pushing into the 70 gust category, slightly less at Entrance Island. But as you can see the picture here, some strong winds up and down the strait. And this just gives you an idea if you want to go on to the Mesonet yourself. The website is meso.cssl.ca. Also seen some strong wind gusts in the Williams Lake area today, preceding some of this weather that's coming through. And on radar, you can see right now, we do have a little bit of snow falling up in some places. There's some things I'd like them to improve still on this site, and I'm sure they will in time. I know Dave is very open to suggestions. Like, I'd like if I could click on this warning to see what the warning is. I know it's a wind warning because I looked at Environment Canada, so that's one thing. I'd like to see highways on here, so at least we know, get a better picture of where we're looking at in the map. But this is a great start. This is a really great start. Here's our storm in the North Pacific. It's wrapping around 989. It's lost a little bit of intensity. It's going to slide down the coast here. A bit of the forecast change as it's going to reinvigorate itself just a little bit as it comes down south. When it does so, it's going to bring a little bit of snow on the backside of itself, and that's going to affect southern BC. And we'll have a look at the timing of that in a couple of minutes' time. As you can see, we do have going through southern BC right now, some lines of precipitation. Some of these places, like up on the number 3, number 5 highway right now, aren't that necessarily great for driving. You're going to run into a bit of a mix of precipitation, but not sitting too bad all in all, despite a few bands of moisture and precipitation moving through the province. Been a little bit of snow out this way today, out past Nasco towards Cluskis and areas like that. So here's looking at BC this afternoon. You can see the cold front is wrapped around, coming all the way back into the backside of this low right now. Near Haida, you could see some flashes of lightning. We got some towering cumulus broken, not a lot of it, but some back there. Isolated thunderstorms going on, cumulonimbus going on, broken cumulus in behind there. Running up to the coast, a little precipitation going on through the mountains. Some of that precipitation's been hitting into Vancouver area today, in through the coast mountains. So some of that will be transitioning to snow as that cold front passes through. Sort of counterintuitively, a warm front that's preceding it is partly what's responsible, as the temperatures are colder up in the Yukon, is what's responsible for bringing so much of that snow up there right now. Very small but stubborn area of high pressure is maintaining itself in the southeast corner of BC. For how long? Well, we'll figure that out. Seems to be some altocumulus and things going on there today. Maintains itself. See that cold front moving in through the night. Bit of a freezing rain risk in that far northwestern corner of BC down through the Yukon, where this cold front and this warm parcel of air will meet up. You can see this low wants to slide down the coast. That's what this arrow is referring to. And these broken layers and this broken cumulus, they're going to funnel up. That's why these arrows are pointing in. They're going to funnel up along the backside of this cold and reach in. And that gives us a good picture of how our system is overall moving its way down the coast. Man, my phone is digging like crazy. Just had a nice call, too, from Nick Hill from Carmanah Wildfire. Good buddy. Also a Patreon supporter. Thank you, Nick, for the support. And, there's a lot of companies out there who are like Nick, rely on me for forecasting, and maybe consider becoming a channel member, joining the Patreon if that's the case. Turbulent flying skies today in BC. You can see some of that right here in the BC VFR route forecast. It gives a synopsis here, even if you can't read all this weather language. The synopsis: increasing cloud as system approaches southern BC. Further synopsis talks about Hope Princeton area. Precipitation, the system expected this afternoon. Snow over higher terrain. We still don't have mountain weather forecasts available in Avalanche Canada. I'm hoping November 1st will be the beginning of that. So soon we'll have an extra resource that we can check in on here on the channel. The big question everyone has is, what does this mean for snow? And we do have some snow in the province right now. Nothing terrible, nothing crazy, but just enough to bring some conditions for driving that are a little bit unhappy. If you're just east of Terraced, some snow up in the Babine possible today in through the next 24 hours. So that's one area to watch. Now we're looking at 3 o'clock, so we're looking about 24 hours ahead right now. And you can see not too much so far expected on the ECMWF model. Southern BC, maybe a couple centimeters will still show up, and we'll have a look then. But it looks like most of us are going to have a fairly nice Halloween. And in terms of snowfall, Thunder Bay may have a bit of a snowfall-y Halloween situation. So, hopefully for them, tomorrow afternoon, that snow should band up and around and on them. So looking at some Halloween possibilities for that area, maybe north of Timmins. Timmins maybe, if this track shifts a little south. Chibougamau, Sept-Îles. So those are some of the areas in Canada where maybe you're going to find snowfall will affect your ability to trick-or-treat. Rainfall may be a possibility too. We'll check into that in a minute as well. So not a whole lot of change. And then you look at Friday in the morning, and then suddenly, wow, what happens Friday morning? Well, we'll tell you what happens in Friday morning, but now we got this pulse of snow coming through that we didn't quite expect making its way through southern BC. I don't know if we'll see too much of that here in Wells, really. It's possible the Caribou Mountains take some. Down in the valley bottoms, you're probably not going to see any accumulation, certainly not. You may see some rainfall, but it's always dry down there for many reasons. Ecologically speaking, you are living in a big rain shadow down there in the Okanagan, and that's why, the mountains keep the sailing, everything sails over top of you, over the mountains there. So certainly some of the big mountains through Highway 3 will be taking some of that. So if you're going over the Salmo Creston Pass, you may run into quite a bit of snow up there. Over the Paulson, you're going to run into some snow there, it seems like, as well. Maybe if you take some of these roads up Highway 33, for example, here, could see some snow in that area, some messy driving conditions through Friday as the cold front moves through, and the backside of this low, when it moves through, will bring cold air down, and we'll have snow on the backside. Some of those same places will take rain as well, and we're looking right now, you can see the coast is in that same time frame, still be taking another 45 mils in places like that, so we're going to have some steady precip down there, but it seems like a lot of this is going to be on the verge, whether it falls as rain or snow, but it could be a slushy, crappy mix, right? And that's not the kind of thing that it's fun to drive through necessarily whatsoever. So we'll try to get you some idea on the timing of it here. Going over the pass in Revelstoke, may see some messy moments, some slippery moments as you have temperatures that hover in and around 0 in the afternoon. We have a mix of precipitation, sometimes falling as snow at the very top of the summit, maybe falling as rain, and have that transition zone somewhere partway through. GFS model looks a little more conservative than ECMWF, but they both agree that that Babine area is getting snow this time that we have listed here. 06Z, that's international time, so that's not BC time. But now we're coming into Thursday for sure. That snowfall still may be going on in the morning there in the Babine. Some of the coast mountains, maybe Highway 99, seeing some messy stretches. There is a little bit of a risk down by the higher country, the southern border area. Then we watch that snow risk, and again, not much, just some flurries moving through on Thursday afternoon. But now we watch what our low is going to do. It's going to reinvigorate itself a little bit, come back together, bam, all of a sudden there's a 986 low there. Where'd that come from? So a little unusual. You see that low is going to sit there and flop around off the coast of Vancouver Island for a little while and stall out finally. Give us moments of precipitation, maybe even some significant snowfall at times down in southern BC over the next number of days, particularly on Friday. And then we have this next one that we're watching for to see what's going to happen here. But this has stayed pretty consistent in the modeling now for a number of days. They seem to think that there's going to be a recovery in the storm track, that we're going to have a larger snow event on Monday, and we'll have to make a whole another forecast at some point to look at that as we go. But we're looking at possibly some more significant lasting snow through southern BC and then a round of it north and then works its way down. So here we are Wednesday afternoon, and we can see where we think this is going to go. Just some flurries in the Caribou, a little bit more sustained flurries in southern BC, stronger snowfall signals and stronger rainfall still in the coast mountains overnight, stronger signals in through southern BC by Thursday morning. Now we have a new low starting to establish itself. This low is feeding into a new low, helping create a new low in Alberta. So a new Alberta clipper forming. We know now from the last few what that will probably involve. Snowfall continuing, fairly steady rates Thursday at 3 a.m. still in through the Highway 16 corridor. So that's some of the nastiest weather is probably going to be there, it looks like, overnight tonight. And then by sunrise, you'll see some more sustained snow already showing up in southern BC here on the ECMWF. Does GFS concur? It has wider spread snow through southern BC. Take these all with a grain of salt. Two different models have two different solutions. Zoom out for a minute. We'll try to get a sense of how our low reinvigorates itself as it still spreads some flurries and a little bit of mix of rain Thursday afternoon in to the eastern parts of BC. So trick-or-treaters may be seeing a little bit of flurries in the Kootenays, possibly a little bit of rain or a mix of at that time. So you probably have the worst trick-or-treating weather in BC, that southeast corner. Well, now we see how will our low, how will this reinvigoration happen? I mean, I could look through here and figure out really quickly. This is a little bit more mundane, 999, than what GFS seemed to show, right? The effect seems to be more or less the same, though, with heavy precipitations, even some possible thunderstorms down the Oregon coast, some more of the stuff that Mark was talking about. You can see this flow at the surface here probably means there's a fairly good risk still for water spouts out there, some solid rainfall there near Eugene and Portland. Northern Washington seeing a little bit of snowfall Friday at 9 a.m. By the time you're getting to work, You could see fairly significant, and temperatures hovering 0, 1, -2, -3s, 4 in Princeton. So maybe you'll see a little bit of rain in Kelowna and Princeton instead as the air descends and warms, coming over the mountains there. Kamloops sitting only 2. So is there going to be a pulse of snow through Friday by 1 in the morning? We'll just rewind back. See that already the Coquihalla starting to take its first flurries. Highway 3 seeing a fair bit of flurries. Kootenay's taking significant snow in the mountains, up into 97 now as well. So maybe even into the South Caribou a little bit. Friday at noon, start to see some of that transitioning into rain at lower elevations and snowfall still on the mountaintops as well, right? So, this is your travel. Notice that Friday is going to be a bit of a messy day for traveling, and overnight into Saturday morning, still up the Rockies, Caribous, still in the Coca-Cola Highway, Coquihalla down there, still in the Kootenays. So a bit of significant snowfall possible for sections there. Your weekend, traveling into your weekend is not going to be that nice. So that's kind of what we're looking at. It will sort of start clearing its way out. Finally, by Sunday, the next sort of band begins to show itself up the BC coast. And we'll look at this again in a couple days because it seems like we could have a pretty good snowfall event on Monday in BC. We're really, really looking like there's some solid evidence here that the temperatures, that the flow, and everything is going to just work its way right to, and probably what this will do is give us a warm up and afterwards what this low will do, right? So it'll drag some warm air up. But that should be one of the largest, maybe the largest snowfall event so far this year coming on Monday, starting next week. So we'll be watching this as we go over the next bunch of days. Well, I hope you found this forecast sort of helpful to give you a bit of an idea what we're looking at over the next bunch of days. Please hit like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, help keep me in business here. Doing my best up here at Wells, BC, 3,935 feet above sea level, living the good life, living the dream right up here in the mountains I am. Yes, indeed. So make sure you have yourself a great afternoon. Keep your eyes on what's going on out there, because even at this time of recording, we got, looks like snowfall going on up in Merritt, Kilchina, maybe a mix of rain through the 5A. So certainly the Allison Pass, looking like it's going to be pretty messy down on Highway 3. So big white, possibly a bit of snow. And then if you go up and, the more or less the Shuswap, there's rainfall happening there, right? A little bit of a mix happening. So this isn't great heavy snowfall in a lot of these places, but there's some bands that are bringing some good moments of steady snowfall. And even in the Caribou here, we still have this sort of signal out by Kluskis showing there's a little bit of snowfall probably happening there, or at least a mix of. So make sure you tell a friend, become a Patreon member, become a channel member, and keep tuning in. We'll do our best to keep you informed all we can here on Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Bye now.